What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Modern Philosopher. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe because I'm trying to get rich and famous and I can't do it without you guys' help. So today, I'm going to be talking about the importance of saying no. Many of us in our lives, we've developed habits and we have rules for our own lives, right? Some of us, we have our own moral compass, where we say, I'm always going to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm never going to do X, Y, and Z, whatever, right? And we have these absolute rules that we make up for ourselves. And for the most part, they help us to live a better life. These are things that, either make us feel a lot more comfortable in a certain situation. These are things that help us to move around society more effectively. But every once in a while, that law or that rule is challenged. And during those challenges, we oftentimes have to ask ourselves, is this worth being absolute about? Now, I believe that there are certain things in life that are absolute. Like, there's a difference. If you look at, science and whatnot, they have what is called a law and they have what is called a theory. Now, a law is something that no matter how many times you try it, you're always going to get the same result. Things such as gravity, that the air we breathe, stuff like that too. But there are things that are theories. The theories are, for lack of a better explanation, things that for the most part tend to be true, but in different certain circumstances, you can have a different outcome, right? So most things, and I'm pretty sure that there are more theories out there than there are laws. So there's very few things in life that tend to be extremely absolute, like that it is non-moving, right? And in our lives, in our personal lives, when we make absolute rules for our own lives, what tends to happen is those rules will get challenged to the point where if we take the same action that we would normally take in a different circumstance, while the execution or the results that we get might be the same, it might come at a great cost. I recently heard a story of someone who decided to be nice and do something rewarding for someone else. And their mindset is, if anyone is always in need of help, I'm always going to help them no matter what. So in this particular situation, they went out and they helped this individual. And when it came time for that individual to pay them back, the individual said, look, I'm not going to pay you back, And the person who went out and helped was like, look, man, I kind of need you to pay me back because I need other things. There's other things that I got to take care of and do with this money that you kind of owe me. And the person that owed the money said, no, I'm not going to pay you back unless you do X, Y, and Z. So it kind of begs the question. Like, is that rule really worth it? Now, I don't think there's really a yes or no answer or a right or wrong answer. I think the answer really is, the question should really be this. How much are you willing to sacrifice to make sure that rule stays true? And this is where I say there's an importance in saying no. Because there are certain things in life that I call acceptable losses, which are things that you should be willing to lose because in the long run you'll gain. But then there are things that are just losses, which are things that you lose and you'll never get back. And the only way you can really prevent that sort of loss that you can't get back is by learning how to say no. And oftentimes it's going to come at the cost of that rule that you have made for yourself. But at the same time, even though you might not be able to help that individual, it'll still be beneficial to you. In a sense, it's kind of like this. There's moments in time when you're going to have to be selfish, because you can't always help people if you're not 100% yourself. And if you helping someone comes at a great cost to you, then you will no longer be able to help people. I have a friend who, no matter what, he's always willing to help people, man. And there's certain times where I'm like, look, man, you literally cannot help this individual. It is detrimental to you. And if you are in a position of a disadvantage, how can you help somebody else try to get to an advantage? If you yourself are not, up here, like if I'm trying to help somebody off a cliff, right? Say somebody's hanging off a cliff, and unless I'm on the top of that cliff, I cannot pull them up. I can't help this person come up and rise up out of that situation if I'm on the same level with them. So sometimes I have to say no. Sometimes I have to be like, look, man, I cannot help you right now. is going to come at a great cost to me. And then all we're going to do is switch places. And now I'm depending on you being able to look at me and say, hey, I'm going to help you. And if you don't do that, and if you leave me be, then that essentially I've put myself in that situation. And that's not something that I'm willing to do. So I do think that you should want to help people. You should want to, help your brother and your sister and make sure that each of them are good to go. But there are certain times in life where you might have to let certain people fail, because if it switches around and you become reliant on this person's, what's the word I'm looking for? Altruism. You're relying on this person to do the right thing and they don't. Sometimes that comes at a great cost to you, and you might not, and I hate to say it this way, but you might start to just resent people. You might start to hate people. It'll start to, lead you down a direction you don't really want to go. So I say all that to say this. It's important sometimes for us to learn how to say no. I don't believe it's important for us to have absolute rules. I think for the most part, it's okay to have a general rule that we live by, but when you have special circumstances, it's okay to have special results. It's okay to sometimes have to change the rule because the circumstances are not the same. The game has changed. Therefore, you can't be the same in a different game. You have to change according to the game that you play. And that's the only way that you'll really, I wouldn't say the only way, but that's one of the most effective ways that you'll come out winning and benefiting not just yourself, but those around you. Anyway, guys, that's my word. I'm trying to keep it a little bit shorter nowadays because I think I ramble on too much now. So as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Let the whole world hear what I got to say, because I'm trying to get rich and famous, and I can't do it without you guys' help. Deuces.